Victoria here. I'm in London with Greg Downey and we're going to have a little chat.
How's it
little
going?
catch up.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Nice to be in a venue once again.
I know.
It's been a while.
I've been waiting for this to happen for a very long time.
It's a nice place actually. It's sort of kind of quirky.
It is very quirky. Is it your second gig of the year?
I think it's my third.
Third.
Yeah, did two shows in America. There's a train.
There's a train.
I did 2 shows in America to start the year, and then here we are. So it's been a long stretch. I'm actually thinking I'm going a bit loopy because it's like you spend so much time like in the studio and just, I don't know, just focusing on the day-to-day things, but usually that gets counteracted with going to clubs and it's sort of, you know, then you go back home, but it's just constantly at home.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. Yeah, it's great. It's nice to be back in London as well, so it should be a buzz.
Do you still get nervous before the gigs?
No, I don't get nervous before gigs at all. I only get I usually get a little bit anxious before, a couple of days before, trying to organise things. You know, it's more the fact that I know I'm going away somewhere and I've loads of other things going on and things start to stack up or last minute.
Are you an organised type of person? Are you a bit of a last minute?
Some people say I'm really organised, and then some people think I maybe could be better. But no, as far as gigs go, I don't really get that nervous before.
So, lockdown, what you've been up to in the last
year?
7, the whole year, yeah, pretty much.
What have I been up to? I mean, I had a choice at the start of lockdown to go home to Dublin and be around family, friends and whatever, or stay in England by myself in the studio. So I decided to do that. So basically there was a period I don't think I saw one other human for like 4 months.
Really?
Yeah, when it was quite intense at the beginning. So all I've been doing is just building the label, working on new singles, tracks for next year, and started a project with Simon Patterson, which we're about 10 tracks into at the moment.
Oh.
So that's taken up all my time, really. And then the podcast with John. So all those things have been enough to keep me going day to day. So
just music. What about sports activities?
Yes, still training. It's funny actually when lockdown happened, because I do Thai boxing and other bits and bobs.
I think we asked as fans and viewers and whoever follows you, your social media is very music orientated and we always long for that. Give us a little bit more
I'm gonna
of the other side of Greg Downey.
Yeah, I think when I move from where I live and I'm in I think there'll be a lot more of that. I've sort of just been heads down music, but as I said, I do Thai boxing, but whenever lockdown happened, I didn't really exercise that much.
Really? Yeah. I've seen you running down a Marlborough
Yeah,
road.
but that for me is just sort of, I don't know, it's sort of like just maintenance.
I was working on my computer going, oh, is that Greg Downey? Jogging? Yeah, that is him.
Yeah, but usually because when the gyms are open and stuff, you train so hard, it's intense, and I just found that when lockdown happened, I just eased off. And it's funny because I was talking to some of my other mates who are into training and they did the same. It's either I'm either sort of fully into it or just a bit.
I've tried and I failed miserably.
In training?
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps you sane.
I know, that's why I thought, you have to have something to focus on, and
it's a good stress relief.
I think I failed on that part.
Oh, yeah.
So your new compilation, The Art of Skullduggery, is that a fruit of lockdown, or is it a project that you started way before?
Actually, the plan before that was I had a concept which was going to be a live compilation series, which we were going to do in China.
Okay.
And there was going to be an Art of Skullduggery Volume 2 after that, but basically because COVID happened, we cancelled all of that.
What do you mean live compilation?
Well, basically I was going to go and do like a tour with various visuals and record the whole thing, and that was going to be a new CD concept compilation. So that being put back, then the Art of Skullduggery took its place. It wasn't a replacement for the Art of Skullduggery. That was going to happen later, but that basically replaced that.
So what I'm interested in is the whole process, because what we get is this lovely looking CD, and I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind it to make it happen. So talk me through the process of when you had an idea of I'm going to do the next album? And how did you get in touch with all the other artists? How?
Yeah.
Just tell me.
Well, what I usually have like a basic sort of end goal of where we would like to have it released, and then I would work backwards from that, which this started in maybe February, March time, the process for this. So basically I would contact a lot of producers who I respect and know, or people that work with the label, and ask them if they would maybe make something for me specifically for the compilation. And then also I work on quite a bit of exclusive material of my own. Basically I just want the compilation just to be quite, upfront, cutting edge, and stuff which people have never heard before. And then obviously the other side of it is choosing the other act to do CD2. And this year it was Beatman and Ludmilla, which I think their time...
Just phenomenal, aren't they?
Yeah, I think their time, over the last couple of years, they've made some ridiculous music. But I think a combination of that and getting to do this compilation and just building their profile more, I think it'd be good to see them break through a good bit more. That's what I'd like to happen after this stuff finishes. So.
I'd like to see them play a gig in London or anywhere in the UK,
well,
in fact.
If I have my way, that'll happen.
Oh, I can't wait.
So you have that side of it, and then obviously the design work, photography, booklets. But I like all that, I like the sort of branding of it. So
do you organise it all yourself? Like how do you get...
I have the idea. I have the idea of exactly what it's going to look like, the layout, the sleeve, I want it like this, no, not like that. And
what about the printing? Actually, physical making of the CD.
Well, I have a designer.
Does it come from China?
No. It's actually, I'm not sure. Well, Black Hole printed it, so whoever works for them, they do the printing, and then I have a designer which does basically everything that I ask that needs done.
Yeah. So do you ring Black Hole and say, "Hello guys, I have this album that I want to release"?
Well,
say, okay.
Well, I would basically say, look, this was the plans from the beginning. This is what I would like to have as a release date, and then they gave me the go-ahead to do it. So. On the back end, obviously, we did one before. So once I had to go ahead with them, then I worked towards it.
What is your sweet formula when you create music?
Sweet formula?
Yeah.
In what
sense? Do you have like a certain way of, approaching it? Or does it just come out of nowhere? You have an idea and you go and smash it? Or do you have your own ritual?
When I'm making music, I said this before in another interview, I always can kind of see it before I've started it.
Tell me more.
It's like, I should do more of this. I should sit down and just make music for fun. I very rarely do that. I usually have ideas, like 6 massive record ideas, and I do everything it takes to get those done. So that could be with writing the chords, finding whichever vocalist I'd be using, writing various bass lines, grooves, samples, different sounds, and just piecing it together that way. But the overall picture of it, I usually have a very good idea of where it's going to go. So it's not like I'm just turning up and, let's see what happens. I always have an agenda.
Don't know what that was.
And obviously throughout that process, there's a lot of ups and downs. You hit brick walls, but I'm always focused on the end result, and that gets me through any of the hard shit in between.
So what do you do when you get stuck, when your creativity is...
When I get stuck on one project, I usually will have about 3 or 4 things on the go at any one time. So if I'm on a real brick wall with something, I leave it for a while, and then I would just maybe go and do another element of another track. Or say I was working on a record and I was stuck at a section, I would say, okay, I'd leave that and then move on to maybe, it could be a melody idea or a build-up or an acid line for later, or a section which just comes out of nowhere, or just, it's like a whole different bits of story as it goes along.
What do you do when you get stuck in life?
Get stuck in life?
I mean, when
your head's fucked.
When your head is fucked, what do you do? Like with the whole lockdown situation, all of us had plans and ideas, and this happened, and it's just crap, isn't it?
I think in life, no matter what's thrown at you on the outside, there's things that you can control on the inside. So things like I always like read good material or try and feed my brain with good stuff. Or obviously I did say I laid off exercising throughout lockdown and maybe I drank a bit more. But in general, the thing that resets me is intense exercising, Thai boxing, martial arts, you know, things which totally cleanse the body and the mind.
How did you get into it, martial arts?
How did I get in? Well, when I was a kid, I did karate. After watching The Karate Kid, I was like, I want to be like him. And then I quit that when I was like about 10, but I did really well at that. And then I got into football and stuff, and then got into DJing, and then I didn't do any like cardio exercise for years and years. And I always wanted to do like something really intense. And Muay Thai boxing is the hardest stand-up fighting there is. Yeah. And as a kid, I was never one of those kids that had fights and stuff. I was like, fighting was a big fear of mine. So it's like,
you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, but then I wanted to face that and actually fight like semi-professionally in Thai boxing. So I had 4 fights.
Cool. Did you win?
I won 2 of them. Should have won 3 of them.
But
it was close.
It was close.
Yeah, it was very close. But yeah, 2, I was happy with that.
Do you like the adrenaline?
Yeah, training to fight is like, it's an experience. You know, as I said, like anything in life, the ups and downs of your training camp, the nerves before, 2 days before the fight, turning up there and being in the changing room before you're about to get called out, the adrenaline up to here. Mm-hmm. Like I remember my first fight, I was getting warmed up with my trainer and I was kicking pads and I couldn't even feel my legs. It was like, this is just insane. Yeah, it was like the fighting is like an out-of-body experience. You know, whether it's one level or the other level, you're still facing your fears. Yeah. And that's something that you can apply to what you just said, you know, if you're stuck or things are tough. These are certain things that you can do which you're in control of. And that progress, no one can really take away from you, regardless of COVID or jobs or money or whatever else.
Good answer.
Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom from Greg Downey. I was actually listening to the set that you did with Alex Di Stefano some time ago, 5-hour progressive and techno.
In London?
In London.
That was a really, really good day. Yeah,
I loved it. Is it something that we can expect from you tonight?
The progressive and techno stuff? Oh yeah, 100%. Like I'm not playing above 128 BPM today. So, but it'll still be energetic and
of course,
driving. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I love doing open to close sets. So it gives you the scope to, you know, for variation rather than always the peak time. So today I'll be a bit like that.
I've seen you so many times, and I think this is the first progressive and techno set that I will witness myself. But it reminded me, my favourite moment, like I said, I've seen you so many times, seen you play so many times.
I know what you're going to say.
My favourite moment was Unconscious.
At the bar?
Yeah, Unconscious Festival, Unconscious 2019.
Yeah, the after party.
The after party.
That was mental.
It was unexpected. So it was like a backpackers bar just off to the main strip. It was just absolute rundown, and I remember the toilet broke towards the end, and there was water everywhere on the dance floor.
And they had these decks which I didn't even know how to use. It's like.
But I remember the moment because you were not scheduled to play, so it was like a really nice surprise for all of us. And the moment where, God, I can't remember what track it was. You played it, and everyone in the crowd had their hands up. We were singing. You were filming us. We were filming you.
It was Perfect Motion.
No.
There was
I have this video on my Instagram. I'm going to find it.
Yeah, there was 2. There was Perfect Motion, and then when it kicked in, all the lads were banging on the bar.
And I think it was such a great moment. It was so intimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite moment.
It was so good because the bar was literally here, and everyone was just like hanging over it.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. I loved that too.
Yeah.
Actually, Sean Tyas, because it was announced I was going to play, and Sean was like, "Oh yeah, man, do you want to play back to back?" I was like, "Nah."
No, that's my moment.
I want to play by myself.
But I just remember we were all singing, hands up in the air, dancing. You were smiling, filming us. We were filming you. It was
good.
It was so good. I think about it and I have, goosebumps.
Yeah, and Conscious Festival was awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah, it's a shame it wasn't happening this year because, well, I won't mention anything, but there could have been a plan. Let's see next time, hopefully.
Let's see next year, hopefully. No,
yeah.
It's not happening this year.
No, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, the one.
Okay.
So maybe
2021. 2022.
2022, no, yeah, hopefully. Let's see.
Are you booked for next year at all?
I have a few bits and pieces like sort of penciled.
I want something to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my stuff's abroad. We have like a couple of big things in China we're working on, and Japan. So meant to go back to Argentina. We're working on Skullduggery 100 because it's the 100th episode of the radio show this year. So we have like a handful of key things we wanted to do, but who knows what's going to happen.
Christmas coming. Do you celebrate Christmas?
Yeah. Well, technically, yeah. I'm not like a big Christmassy birthday person, but I'm looking forward to going home and spend it in Belfast because my mum and dad are actually selling our family home this year, so it's going to be the last one. End of an era. Yeah, my mum wants to move to Lanzarote. My dad doesn't want to leave Belfast, so I think they're buying two.
I mean, Belfast, Lanzarote.
Yeah, but my dad wants both, so I think that's.
If we could only have the weather, I always say, wouldn't it be great if UK was where Spain is? Can you imagine if Isle of Wight was Gran Canaria?
Yeah. Yeah, because the weather over there is insane.
I mean, you wouldn't have a need to leave the country ever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the UK is an amazing place, but as you say, the winters are pretty grim.
I hate the cold. I need sunshine in my life.
I just don't like this sort of indoor lifestyle, Mm-hmm. It's freezing, it's dark at night, and you go, Christ, everything feels like it's sinking on you a bit. I think that's all right, isn't it?
I didn't wrap up.
That was decent, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers.
Thank you.